The first thing that we need to understand in our story, in our life, and what's going on is that God desires to bless us. He desires to bless us. He desires to put good things in our life. He desires to bring us from where we are to the promised land. You understand, if God didn't desire to bless his children, he'd have left them in Egypt. Right? He would have let them continue to wander in the wilderness and never get to the promised land. All right, y'all want to be hard-headed? Fine, y'all stay where you're at. Y'all can't come, right? He could have done that, but he didn't. He said, even though you're hard-headed, I still love you. You're my children. I want you to come with me. As a hard-headed child, I understand that I'm glad they didn't leave me behind, right? It would have been so much easier for my mom and dad just leave me at Walmart. Back then, well, they didn't do Walmart, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, man, he's just difficult. Y'all take care of him. They weren't worried about anybody kidnapping me. Why? Because they knew he'd bring him back in about 20 minutes, right? Walk that kid right back through the door. I ain't got to worry about him. He's good, right? No, it's one of those situations that if God didn't love us and desire to bless us, he'd leave us right where we're at. He wouldn't send his son to die for you and for me. He wouldn't do it. Why? Because he doesn't care. But we have a Father in heaven that cares about us. We have a Father in heaven that desires to bless us. That desires to give us, and some people get this crazy and take off in left field. But we'll see in this story, there was a desire in Abraham and Sarah's life, and God desired to fill it for them. He desired to bless them. In our story, Abram receives a promise. And that promise was for him and his wife Sarah, or Sarai at the time. They're the same people. And God changed their names. But listen to this. We're going to read a couple of things, and I'm going to give you some more points out of it. But Genesis chapter 15, verses 1 through 6, it says this. And after these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Fear not, Abram, I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great. But Abraham said, O Lord God, what will you give me? For I continue childless, and the heir of my house, Eliezer, is from Damascus. And Abram said, Behold, you have given me no offspring, and the member of my household will be my heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him and said, This man shall not be your heir. Now here comes the promise. You ready? He says, Your very own son shall be your heir. And he brought him outside and said, Look towards heaven and number the stars if you are able to number them. How many of you know they're still counting stars today? Right? They're still finding stars. They're still finding galaxies. They're still finding things today. So if you can count how many that is, that's how many your heirs are going to be. And then he said to them, So shall your offspring be, if you are able to number them. And he believed the Lord, and he counted it to him as righteousness. And he believed the Lord, and he counted it to him as righteousness. Some of us need to believe the promises of God in our life. Some of us need to read the word and see the promises that are there. Some of us need to just get in God's presence and allow his Spirit to speak the promises of God in our life. But we don't get in his presence. We get in the middle of our situation and we get in the pity party of, but I don't have what I need, God. But I don't have this. But do you see where I'm at? And I'm going to tell you, if God has promised you something and you're in a place, he's going to give you what you need to get to the place he's promised you. He will do it. Why? Because God desires to bless his children.